Hey everyone, welcome back to the lecture again. In this video, we will see working with CSV file. So basically in this video, we are going to focus on how we can read the CSV file and how we can write the CSV file. For this lecture, all the source code is provided in the GitHub repository. So here in the source, I will show you these are the three CSV files, employee1.csv, employee2.csv and employee3.csv are we are using for this lecture. And if you want to see the repository, so here you can see this repository. I will share the link of this repository in the lecture's description, so you can get the code from this repository. So let's get started to our lecture. So our main agenda is we are going to see these 6 points in our whole lecture. So for that I am going to restart my kernel. Okay, and I will create a Spark session variable as it is. We have seen how we can create the Spark session variable in previous lecture. If you want to know more about the Spark session, I have created separate lectures on this, so you can refer those lectures for knowing in detail about the Spark session variable. In this, I have created here, you can see a master with the 3 local threads. Okay, so as we are using the Sparks cluster as the local. So now, how we can read a CSV file into the Spark data frame? So there are two ways. The first one is you can use, this is the spark.read.csv, and you can pass the path to your CSV file. So here you can see // is for the current working directory I am in. So this is the current working directory where I am, and you can see this is the second chapter, right? So this is the current working directory in the second chapter, and now here in that there is a source directory, and in the source directory we have a CSV directory, and in the CSV directory you can see we have a employee1.csv file. So in this way you can read the data frame or the CSV file in the Spark. So I am going to run this cell. You can see here, so it is running. Show is an action, and you can see the CSV file. By reading it, it is created one data frame, and on the data frame you can see all the data is available, right? The only 1000 rows are there, but in the show function we can see 20 rows by default. This is the first way you can read the CSV file. In the second way you can read the CSV file is you can use the Spark session object. On that you can call the read class. On that you can pass, or you can call this method format, pass the format of the CSV file to your method. Then you can use this load method and pass the path to your CSV file, and it will also read your data frame. So here you can see Spark is a Spark session object in our code, and the object of the data frame reader class, that is CSV, that is the read object. Okay, and on that we have a CSV method with which we can see how we can capture or how we can read the data, right? The above example you can see here, in the above example all the column names are like this: C0, C1, C2, etc, etc, right? But in our CSV file, if we see, we have headers, right? So we are not getting those things in our data frame. Quite strange, but yeah, we can do that thing. If I show you the schema of the data frame, here you can see this is the print schema, and every column name is C0, C1, C2 starts with it. It is by default, and data type of every column is string. So if you don't provide the schema or you don't infer the schema, then it will detect the schema, and where variable or column names are this like C1, C0, and data type is string. Now we can use header as true. So here you can see I'm using the same things, spark.read. Here I am going to use this pattern, that is format CSV, and on the top of that I am going to call again one method, that is option. In option method we will pass the first parameter as header, and its value as a second, that is key value pair, it is true. And after that I am loading the same data and showing the data to you. So let's see what is the result for this. Now you can see in this scenario you have the column names like employee ID, first name, last name, start date, exit date, etc., etc., and you will get all the details because we have provided an option, and that option is header is true, right? So this is the how you can read the CSV file, right? CSV file reading. And also if you want to know more about the details of the method, so you can always use the Spark reader. Here you can see you can use the help functionality of spark dot read, and you can see you will get the documentation of all whole read object. And here you can see you can scroll that whole read class, and this is the whole read class, and we have this read as an object of this class, and you can go through the documentation for this. Also if you want to see the method CSV, then you can use like this, and here it is showing you the method CSV and what parameters it requires. So you can see here path is compulsory. Also you can provide schema, then separation, and etc., etc. You can go through the documentation. But the thing is that we have multiple files, right? In our CSV folder you can see we have three files: employee1.csv, employee2.csv, and employee3.csv. How we can read the multiple files? With the help of Spark Read class or Spark Reader APIs. So to read multiple CSV file in PySpark DataFrame, it's separated by comma. You can create the list of paths and paste the array to the load function. So here you can see I have created an array of two CSV file. The first one is, that is our employee1.csv, and the second one is employee2.csv, and I have passed this array to this load method, right? So I am going to run this, and you can see we got count of data frame, like number of rows in data frame are 1999. But here you can see I am reading two files, right? 1 and 2. So this is my first file and it has only 1000 rows in it. So remaining rows coming from this second file. So this is how we can read the multiple CSV files with the help of this kind of array kind of format, and we can pass multiple files. We can read all the files from a folder. That is also possible. To read all the files from a directory, there are two possible ways. The first one is you can use this method where you can just pass the path till that folder. So here I am going to pass the path, that is source. So this is the source folder, and in the source folder I am going to pass the CSV. So whatever there inside the CSV folder, it will read all the files. So let's run the program, and you can see we got a count of 3000. So all the three files has 1000 records in it. So it read all the files in the CSV folder. Also, we can use wildcard characters like asterisk to reading the specific file with a specific format. So here you can see in this I want to read the files which starts with employee underscore and asterisk. It means whatever comes here after employee underscore, it will read that file. It may contain 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. And here you can see this is the CSV extension at the end. So here you can see I am using a wildcard character in the load functions while passing the path. So let's run and let's see. Here you can see we have passed the thing, and that is 3000 rows we got from this reading the all three CSV files. Now let's come to the next thing, and that is reading the CSV files with different options. So here you have noticed with the help of option we can pass different properties. Also in the documentation you saw we can pass multiple things, right? But here I showed you the CSV method. But what if how we can pass the option when we are using the load? So with the help of option function you can pass multiple options. You can chain the multiple options while using these things. Okay, so let's see. Here you can see I have passed the first option, that is header is true, and the second option is infer schema, and that is also true. And after that I am reading the file. Then we are printing the count of the file and we are printing the schema of the file. So let's run the cell, and here you can see output is 3000. So it read all the three files from that, right? And how this option is like executed. So here you can see previously whenever we are not using the infer schema equals to true, that time we got the data type of all the columns as string. But now you can see here employee ID is integer, other columns are strings, and also here multiple columns like this current employee rating, it is also an integer. So this is how infer schema, or you can pass multiple option. So this is the one way you can chain the option method while reading the data frame, and you can pass multiple option to it. The second way you can do is you can use this options method with s at the end, and you can pass the options that you want like this: header equals to true, infer schema equals to true. And you can go in depth of this options method with the same way that help function spark.read.format.options, and you can check whatever options you can provide, right? So here I will execute this thing, and you can see the same thing is there. And here also we are able to see what is the schema that is applied, and it readed all the three files, right? And now the most commonly used options are as follows. The first option is delimiter. So here you can see this is the delimiter option. It specifies the character used to separate the fields in a CSV file. As in our CSV file, you can see this is the comma separated file and every field is separated by comma. So delimiter is by default comma separated file. But you can pass any delimiter by passing this delimiter in the option and your specified delimiter. We saw the infer schema and header. After that, here is one method, that is quote. Quote actually defines the character used by quoting fields containing special character. So if you are using string, and in that if you are using single quote for string, then you can pass quote for this. So it will recognize that in single quotes you are passing as a string. Then null values. It specifies a string that represent null or missing values. So in your if in your CSV file, if some values are empty, only commas are there, blanks are there, so in that scenario you can pass null value and you can pass NA for that. So in that blank value it will fill NA. Then date format is also available. With the help of date format, you can format the date for your options, and this is the simple. You have to provide the date format, and after that you have to specify the format of the date, such as dd slash mm slash yyyy, etc. You can go through the documentation of all this through either Spark documentation page or with the help of help method. Now our next thing is we are going to see how we can read the data frame with the column schema. So here you can see this is I have imported some types from the Spark SQL dot types, right? So here struct field, struct type, integer type, string type, and date type. And I have created the schema with the struct field and struct type with every column name. Second thing is its data type and its nullable value. We will see how we can create custom schema in future lectures in detail, but for now this is the schema for our lecture. Okay, so I am going to run this cell, and this is the future lecture schema. So here now I am going to pass my custom schema to this here. So you can see spark.read. After that format I have provided CSV, option header is true. Then with the help of this schema method, I am going to pass the schema as a variable, and you can see this is the schema variable I have created. And after that I am loading whole CSV folder, so all the files of the CSV, and at the end we are printing the schema. So here now you can see on that I have provided the schema, and it is going to print the schema for all the things. So this is how you can provide the custom schema to your data frame. After that, the last point is writing PySpark data frame as a CSV file. Okay, so here you can see, to write a PySpark data frame as a CSV file, you can use .write .csv method, or its object on the data frame class. It will provide you different methods, so you can save your data frame in the different formats or different file formats, or at different things. Okay, so in our case, on the data frame, I am going to use this object, that is write. It is the data frame writer. On that we are going to pass format as a CSV. So here you can pass any formats. We are going to see other formats like JSON, Parquet, JDBC in future lectures, but for now I am going to save my data as CSV. Then mode, for now I am going to pass mode as overwrite. So it will overwrite every time we run this specific cell or code. It will overwrite that folder and it will save the data again. Then option, header is true, so it will say that our file has headers. Then option is delimiter, and now I am going to change the delimiter. Instead of comma, I am going to use this pipe. And with the help of this save action, I am going to provide the path, that is sync. In sync, I am going to provide CSV and employees. So here you can see the sync folder is there, and in that CSV folder is also there, but employee folder is not created. So as soon as I am going to run this, so let's see, and now you can see the sync folder is there. In the sync folder there are multiple files, CSV folder, and now you can see employee folder is also created, and it has created multiple files in it. Okay, so you can see 3 files it created, as we are using local 3, so we have 3 executors, so it created the 3 partitions and 3 CSV files, right? And 3 checksum files. These are the intermediate files that Spark uses. So let's open, and now you can see, as we have provided header true, so we have header in our CSV file. And also you can see now we have pipe as a symbol instead of comma. So this is our pipe delimited CSV files, and here in these 3 files we have all our CSV data in our sync folder. So this is how you can save the data in the CSV format. Now the main thing is that I'm going to collapse this. You can specify different saving modes while writing the PySpark data frame to the disk. These saving modes are specifically as follows. So here you can see, you saw I used override. So what override actually do? It will override the existing files if already existed. Then again we have an append mode. So append mode will create new files. So let's try to use the append. Okay, and now I am going to run this again. So now in this time, in the append mode, let's go to sync, and now you can see 6 files are created there, right? So in the append mode, it overwrites the existing data, it appends the existing data. Then ignore mode. When this option is used, it ignores the writing operation when the file is already existed. If file already exists, it will ignore, and if not, then in that scenario, it will write the file to the specific sync location. And after that error, this option will return an error if the file already exists at your sync location. Otherwise, it will create the files, or it will write the files to the specific location. So this is how you can work with the CSV file in the Spark. This is all for this video. In the next video, we will see how we can work with the JSON files in the Apache Spark or PySpark. You can run these notebooks in Databricks as well, and you can get the code from the GitHub repository link that is provided. So if you have any questions or difficulties, then feel free to ask the questions in the comment section below, and don't forget to share this channel and video so we can reach to more data enthusiasts. We will see you in the next video. Till then, happy coding.